Hey there, title folks. It's Cheryl here, your closing chaos navigator and escrow account bodyguard. And today we are talking about a sneaky little scam that's making a big comeback: check washing fraud. Yeah, it's a thing. It's old school, it's ugly, and it is still here. So, what is check washing anyway? Here's how it works. Scammers steal outgoing mail, especially business checks. They then literally wash the ink off your check using chemicals, leaving the signature and the check number untouched. Then they rewrite the check to themselves or a fake business for way more than the original amount. And before you even realize that it's gone, boom, it's cashed, funds drained, closing disrupted, clients panicking, compliance officer sweating. Sound familiar? I hope it doesn't sound familiar to you, but I know for most of you it does. Certainly is for me. I had this happen many times when I was running my title agency, and we're talking over 15 years ago. It happened to me three different times. Fortunately, it was caught by the bank each time, no money lost, cops were called, everything was fine, but it doesn't always happen that way. And it is still happening all the time. And title agents are prime targets. And you have got to care about this because you manage large checks. It's your name on the line if the funds disappear. And it's your clients and your underwriter who are counting on you to protect these dollars like a pit bull with a Prada briefcase. One compromised check could mean delayed closings, wire replacement chaos, angry customers, or worse, compliance issues that put your whole operation at risk. I've talked with people in the title community about this problem, and they all confirm it is still happening all the time. Here's what some of them had to say. Diana from Missouri said, "We just had it happen to us. We think someone either broke into the post office box or someone at the post office, an employee, did it. Luckily, Positive Pay caught it and it didn't go through." Katie from Florida said that they've had it happen a couple of times, just a couple of years ago. They believe that it was copied somewhere in the Postal Service and that they were able to identify the exact check that was washed and the person that it was being mailed to and received it and cashed it. Thank goodness for Positive Pay because they tried it about 30 different times and they caught every single one of them. Thomas from Virginia said that a former employee did this to them and three other firms. The other firms didn't prosecute, so he had no idea of the risk when he hired her. People, if you have an employee who does this to you, you've got to prosecute, if for no other reason, to protect the next title agency that they apply for. Now, eventually, all that did catch up with this employee and Thomas's company, as well as the most recent previous company, were still within the statute of limitations, and they both went after her. There were a dozen charges of check fraud filed. She was set to serve a year in prison when she got pregnant, right before she went to jail, and the government let her out early on good behavior after 3 months. She paid restitution in full, and it took her 3 to 4 years to do it. Quite a few of the people that chimed in on this topic also said, be prepared that even if the criminals are caught and prosecuted, that they probably aren't going to get as steep a penalty as you think they ought to. Unfortunately, that is just the way the system works. So, here's what you can do, and stick with me. I promise this is one of the easiest fraud prevention tips that you're ever going to see. So simple. So if you've never heard of it, let me introduce you to your new favorite fraud fighting friend, Positive Pay. Boy, the alliteration is just crazy today, folks. So Positive Pay is a tool that is offered by most commercial banks. If your bank doesn't offer it, go find another one. Just that simple. This is a simple, brilliant system that works. All you do is you give your bank a list of every check that you've issued, the check number, the dollar amount, the payee name. When somebody tries to cash a check, your bank compares the details of the check to the list, and if anything looks off, the bank flags it, the check doesn't clear, and you stay in control. It's basically two-factor authentication for your paper payments, and every escrow account should be using this. Side note, most of the title software companies have integrations that will automatically report the checks that you issue from your software to your bank. This is literally the easiest fraud prevention tool out there. Set it up, forget it. If your bank doesn't integrate with your software company, change banks. They're out there. There's plenty of them. You have options. So here's what you need to do today if you are not already doing it. Call your bank. Ask if positive pay is available. Turn it on. Call your software vendor. Find out if they integrate with your bank to facilitate positive pay. Get it set up. Train your team. Make sure everyone knows to report lost checks or unusual mail issues. Also, make sure that you've got your checks locked up with limited access to a few approved employees. And review your mail process. Maybe it's time to switch to a secure pickup or a Dropbox or better envelopes. There's choices. And buy a new pen. Folks, I told you this is easy. Black gel pens are more difficult to wash off because the ink binds with the paper fibers. So if you are writing anything on that check, then just use a black gel pen. I put a link in the show notes for you. And there's a few other things that you probably should be thinking about if you're not already. So also make sure that you are purchasing check paper with security features. This is one nobody ever talks about, but not all checks are created equal. Personally, I've been doing business with ASAP checks for over 20 years. I recommend them to all of my title clients and business clients. They are fantastic. I've given you a link in the show notes to them as well. And then consider moving to wires whenever possible. Less paper, more control, and it's easier. Consider also working with a payment processing fraud detection firm like Rhino, Closing Lock, or Certif ID. Great firms out there doing some really good work in this world and making things easy for you. And while you're at it, check out the Wire Fraud Prevention Kit that's available in the Wicked Easy shop, because that is another tool you can use to help reduce your risk. And as everything in that shop, I make it easy for you. So let me just say this. If your office is still sending high dollar checks via old, plain snail mail, and you're not using positive pay, you are playing escrow roulette. Fraud is no longer a what if, it's a when. And unless you're prepared, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Positive pay is one of the easiest, most effective ways to protect your clients, your company, and your peace of mind. That's it for today's episode of Wicked Title, folks. If this was helpful, forward it to your escrow manager, your ops team, or heck, even your bank rep. And if you want a checklist to get this implemented, check out the show notes. Everything I've said here is also written down for those of you who prefer to read or have problems with short-term memory. Until next time, stay wicked, stay sharp, and protect those checks like the pro you are.